Hello fellow 3D enthusiast, my name is Ian, and today I'm going to show you some more uses for vertex colors, and mainly how you can get this kind of cool painted effect incorporated into your materials. Now here's the problem I faced. I sculpted this crazy model with dynamic topology enabled, and if we look at the mesh, it's super dense and triangulated, and I'm sure we could retopologize that. There's some nice new features in Blender to do that. But I just kind of wanted to keep a lot of this detail, and it really wasn't bothering me rendering it like this, so I just kept it like this. But the problem with that is you can't really add any UVs very easily. If we go into edit mode, the vertices are all over the place. So a good solution to this problem is to use Vertex Paint. So let's break that down real quick. So I'm in a different file here, and this is what it looked like before I added in the kind of defining paint marks on the model. And you can see it looks alright, but it really isn't showing off much of that detail that I sculpted in. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on this material here, and I'll just kind of show you how I do that and what the process looks like. So first of all, this material is put together with free textures. I can't remember the exact place where I got them, but there's a few really good sites out there that I'll link to. A couple of those are Texture Haven, and also CC0 Textures is really good. But if we take a look at these textures, they're really nice. We've got all the maps that we need to get something really nice looking. That one's a little weird. So anyways, let's just hop into this material setup real quick. What we're going to need to do is grab this and feed that into a color ramp. So I'm going to go Shift A and Converter, Color Ramp, because color ramps are awesome. And I'm going to grab that there and just put that in there. I'm going to crank up the whites in a second here. You'll see what I'm doing that for. But the cool thing about this texture here, which is our bump texture, I should mention, is it kind of tells Blender which parts are supposed to push out on the model and which parts are pushed in. So the white parts are kind of bumped out and the black parts are bumped in. So continuing to set up the shader, we're going to go color and then mix RGB. And I'm just going to switch this to be a color. So I'm going to drop my color ramp into the factor and the color map for my model into the top color. And with these set up, if you have the add-on Node Wrangler enabled, you can go Control Shift and click on this, and wow, that's so exciting. But if we change this white color to be something else, you can start to see it's popping through there. If we just crank up this white value also, you can really get a good sense of the effect that's going on. And if we feed this into the color for our principled shader and take a look at that, you can really see this nice blue paint effect going on. Now that's all right, but we don't just want blue all over the whole model. So this is where the Vertex Paint comes in. I'm going to use that into this socket. So if we start in solid view and then just tab into Vertex Paint, we can see this crazy stuff. All right. So what I'm going to do here is just hit Control and Space, and that'll help to see it a little bit better. I've got my value here set to be yellow, and with the way our shaders work, it doesn't really matter if it's light or dark, it's just going to be factoring in the color of it. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to kind of paint in the eyes a little bit and just start to add some color to our model that we sculpted out. Okay, I don't have to be too specific about this. With the scene that I'm looking at, I kind of want it to look a little bit like somebody did this really amazing sculpt and then just kind of slapped some paint all over it. Or somebody else came and slapped paint all over it because they didn't care as much. Something like that. And if we just kind of hit the big defining shapes, I think that works out pretty well. Okay, so I did kind of a little bit of a messy job here, but that's all right. If we go back to object mode and hit Control Space once more to go out of full screen, with this node set up, I'm just going to plop in those vertex colors that we just painted. So if we go Shift A, Input, and Vertex Color, we've got this little node here, which we can select color as just the vertex colors that I painted in. If you go to the data properties, object data properties, you can see this little drop down that says vertex colors, and you can actually paint different maps, but that's not really what we're focusing on at the moment. So once you get this, we can drop it in there. And if we take a look at the rendered view, we have this effect, which is pretty nice. I'm not a huge fan of how blue this ended up looking, so I'm just going to use saturation. That's the one. So if we turn down the saturation, we can't see anything. We can have a little bit of saturation. I don't know, that kind of works. So that's pretty much all of this technique that I wanted to share with you. I just wanted you to know that there are a few really good ways to use Vertex Paint, and it can really come in handy. So if you found this useful and you'd like to see more tutorials kind of like it, there's a link in the description that says free hydraulic kit bash elements, and when you click that, what it'll do is add you to my email list. And I'll make sure the first thing I send you are some free hydraulic kit bash elements, and then every week when I put up a tutorial, I just send out a quick email to people on that list. So that's what you can expect from that. Other than that, I'll catch you again real soon. Cheers!